Welcome back! What we were talking about initially before we jump all over.
So, continuing with our death list, we have both the loving couple of Vision and Scarlet Witch. Vision dead, Scarlet Witch gone.
Oh, that was interesting. That was very interesting.
We have Gamora gone.
Sacrificed.
Yes, we have Mantis gone. We have Doctor Strange gone. Spider-Man gone. And the people in the corner.
Bucky gone, and Black Panther gone. So overall, guys, I think.
And we're not even mentioning all the characters that are probably gone that they didn't show.
Well, we have Sam Jackson gone. Well, Nick Fury.
Nick Fury.
Maria Hill is gone. Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. tied it in this last episode nicely that it was happening concurrently. So probably next episode we will figure out.
Oh wait, it was happening alongside on the TV show?
So. Okay, so pause. So what happened in last night's episode is that, they tied it in where one of the alien races told them that Thanos is attacking it right now. So everything that was happening from here on is simultaneously. So we might just see in next week episode that half of the agent just died. But that what happened is that was the ending of this movie. Like, people just died and you really didn't expect it. And the fact that
it was a red wedding situation. Again, another cross-referencing, but when someone's like, how would you describe the ending of the movie? I'm like, if you ever saw the red wedding in Game of Thrones, that's the ending of the movie. You saw people die who you're just like, wait, what? Like, it was so... I have never, in the 10 years I've been going to Marvel movies, I have never seen a movie that ended in silence. Not a single... Guys, hear me. On the Thursday night premiere, not a single person made a sound at the end of that movie. And not a single person left their seat. Everyone was dumbfounded. They were just... The heaviness of the stun that was left in the theater was palpable. Everyone was just like in their seats. The only thing you saw was people look at their head, like turn their head to their person they were sitting next to and just like...
Did that really happen?
That was the reaction.
What was even more interesting is how they ended the movie apart from the death. So one thing I think I was telling you about, but you probably wasn't hearing me, you were just in shock, was that it felt like a funeral. Because go back and look at the end of Avengers and the end of Avengers Age of Ultron, you see it end with glory and like color and spectacle. This end just fades to black, white character's title comes on screen and everything just fades away. No music is playing, everything is just dead silent on screen. And then all of a sudden you see Avengers Infinity War and it fades away just like our hero dying. And it was once again putting a nail into our heart that, Marvel is not playing any games. They are willing to kill off characters. Now, yes, I know Avengers 4 is coming and they're going to succeed in that one.
Yeah.
But for them to do this at this point in time,
they left you with the whole
with Black
year
Panther making 1.3 billion, with Spider-Man coming back into the fold, with all these characters, all the characters that they killed are mostly from the Phase 3 and most of the Guardians from Phase 2.
Most have. 90%.
The people that most of the people would say they real love now, they kill all those characters and just leave us with our core characters, and that's going to be interesting to see where they take it next.
The only issue I had with the ending in that sense is I think they might have done a little bit. They did a mighty disservice to Miss Marvel, because I think so. Again, spoilers. Sorry about it. Of course you sat through the credits because you needed to. 10 years now, 19 movies in, if you don't know not to get up at the end of the movie, you have no business
going to watch your movies.
But I mean, you couldn't have gotten up even if you wanted to.
I go and watch a regular movie and I sit till the end of the credit now because
they fucked me up. Yeah. See, now it's just a habit. Like, I'll go to something like, I don't know, Scooby-Doo Mysteries or something. Like a movie that obviously I know, the Time Machine of Love, whatever. Some stupid movie that absolutely has no post-credits. I'm just like, oh, okay.
Okay. Like, got to a point. What you were saying about Miss Marvel?
Yeah, I think they just did a disservice to it because once you saw, so if you waited to the end of the movie and you saw the whole scene with Nick Fury realizing something was going down and people were fading away, and just before he fades away, he gets on this really weird looking beeper, which whatever, and he sends out a message, and everyone's like, okay, waiting to see what it says, sending, and then the Miss Marvel's emblem shows up. No one was like, woo! It was like, okay.
Who is that? I heard a few people were
well, yeah, well, that's the newbies, but I felt like what had just happened was so heavy that you couldn't really, it felt weird to feel excited afterwards. It almost felt like, it almost feels like, you know, that you find out your dog died and then you come home. Okay, well, you find out somebody died on your way home, and you come home and everyone's like, surprise! And it's a surprise party for your birthday. And you're just like, oh yeah, it's my birthday. Sorry everyone, I'm just not feeling it well. Oh, it's okay, we got cake and balloons, and everyone's like having a good old time. And you don't want to ruin the fun by saying, my dog just died. You know, you don't want to do that. That's exactly, for me, that's what it felt like. I saw the Miss Marvel thing, I was like, yay!
Yeah, I think I understand what you mean, because I don't think I even touched on the fact that Miss Marvel was the poster credits.
That was the surprise, but no one. It didn't feel like a surprise. It didn't feel the same. Every ending credit movie made you excited for the next movie. I didn't feel excited for Miss Marvel. I felt anxious for the next fucking Avengers movie.
Yeah, to see how they're gonna come back, what they're gonna do to bring them back. And I think I was telling somebody this, like, I don't look at it as being disingenuous that they kill off these characters and we knowing that they're going to come back. Because, guys, it's based on comic book. Characters never really die.
Not if they're making money.
What I enjoyed was the fact that they took the risk to kill characters like Black Panther and Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. Like, these are...
They did maximum impact characters.
Yes. Yeah, like, you told me... So I saw the movie 3 times. And most of my reaction was towards Black Panther dying and towards Doctor Strange dying. But when we watched it together, you cried when Peter Parker died. When I watched it over the 3rd time, I felt that emotional impact, because it's so much to take in that you can't really feel the emotional impact just on the first watch. And each time you watch it, you will feel something different.
So, guys, the reason, obviously, other than the acting of it, but Peter Parker's death was extremely impactful, because one thing a lot of people may not have taken into consideration, because he's a hero, and in that movie he was inducted into the Avengers, and so, right? You kind of felt like he was on the same level as all the other characters.
Yeah.
What a lot of people fail to realize, especially if you liked Homecoming, Peter Parker was a teenager. He was a kid. Was he freshman? Junior?
I think in this movie he's 16 or 17.
He was a kid. And so when you compare his reaction to the others, everyone else's reaction was kind of, oh, this is happening. And they're more like in a stunned state of like, shit. Peter Parker was genuinely afraid. That was the fear of a child realizing they haven't lived. That was the fear of a child going like, I don't want to go, I'm not ready. I haven't done anything. I got to say goodbye to my mom. I have to say goodbye to my aunt. I have to say goodbye to my friends. I have a test next week. He was probably thinking about all these things that only kids think about, even though you're fucking dying, guy. Like, and he was probably in a, like, the way he was acted, and I have got to give it up to Tom Holland for that, because he pulled at my heartstrings in such a way that it was just like, damn, we just witnessed a child dying and realizing they've done nothing with their life yet. It was too, oh, man.
For me, I think it was that, on top of the fact that, when you tie in the fact that Tony Stark is his surrogate father, and at the beginning of this movie, Tony was telling Pepper how he was having a dream about having a kid.
Oh my goodness.
And it was that, and the fact that Tony looked at Peter as being his son, kind of adopted son, his ward, according to Doctor Strange. That was the double whammy there, was that Peter is dying, he's a kid, and then Tony is losing
what he considers
his child. And, like, that was impactful to me, and I remember I just shed a tear and I looked aside. The husband next to me is shit crying, and his son is crying, and his wife is looking like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah. I mean, if you guys can genuinely imagine, you know, being an adult and losing your life now, you're going to be like, well, shit, there's so much things that I wish I could have done. But you have all this experience to look back on. But when you're 16, you know, and taking into consideration Peter Parker's character, he probably did he get kissed? Did he actually kiss someone?
Yeah, he kissed the girl in the movie.
Okay, well, he's probably still a virgin, and like, there's just so many things about. There's just so many. You just saw a lot of time lost, and I thought it was portrayed so well.
Okay, so my next question was going
Sorry
to be.
About that.
My next question was.
Nothing wrong being a virgin. To the V.
Just not 40-year-old version, please. My next question was going to be like, which hero you mourn for the most? But I guess both of us will be Peter Parker, Spider-Man.
That's why I mourn for the most.
So one of the responses we got on Twitter was not Star-Lord. So Tia, why do you think people are hating on Star-Lord so much?
Because a lot of people think it was his fucking fault.
Well, technically it was.
It was extremely his fault. And you know what the funny thing about it was? And again, great subtle acting, great subtle story writing. And I thought about this the second time I saw the movie. Now, I didn't really realize it the first. For the fact that the person who was trying to keep him the most level-headed was Tony Stark, who had his ends out with Captain America almost for the same reason.
Yep.
So it was almost like Tony Stark was like, shit, I'm seeing myself. I know what I did in this situation. And he, like, went into this panic. I'm like, no, you gotta calm down. You gotta like, for Tony in this movie had so many, like, they developed his character to an extreme degree.
One of the good things I always did with Tony was every single movie he's in, they added to
a layer.
Character. Because we see this in a lot of movies, like they go into team-up movies and the characters get no development. Even if they're on screen for 5 minutes or 20 minutes, like they get some level of character development. And Tony, everything that happened in all the previous movies, you could see how it played out here. Like you seeing that same thing that at the end of Civil War, you know, he just went to town, was like, he killed my mother, and he didn't give a damn. But now, like, Thanos killed Gamora, and that is Star-Lord's love interest, and that's yet again another person that he lost. And Star-Lord is a child at heart, and he's just going to town on Thanos, and Tony trying to calm him down. And you could see how that played into his reaction from before. But I think that's why a lot of people is hating on Star-Lord, though, because, you know, they almost had the glove off. It was almost off from his hand. And he just went to town when Thanos confirmed he killed Gamora. And
I think the other reason though that people don't really like Star-Lord so much in this movie is because up until this point in his own movies, within his own group, he made for a relatively good leader. You know, his ragtag group of his Monty, you know, what was the word I'm looking for? His motley crew of space cadets, they're unorganized to say the least. But he's always kind of stood out amongst them as someone who has a plan, albeit a tacked together one.
Yep.
But then when you put him against a Tony Stark, when you put him against an a Captain America, a Black Panther, especially in this case, when you put him up against, you know, fucking Doctor Strange, he just seems incapable. He seems inept. He seems just incompetent, and like he doesn't command respect amongst his own crew. You saw that because twice everyone disobeyed him, and you know, he also kind of seemed really dumb. You know, I mean, obviously these are all the characteristics you love about him, but you don't realize how out of place he is until you take him out of his own universe and plop him into a different element, and you're just like, wow, you are not a good captain. Like,
no, the only reason he's really a good captain is because Gamora is there to be the emotion, you know, to be that person to get the team to do what needs to be done.
The counterbalance.
But she was taken out of the movie pretty early.